Sleeping Sparks. This is a response video to a tag made by Retribution Angel. You might know this guy, he makes somewhat decent green stuff figures. Just makes weird figures. And yeah, he basically asked 20 questions. So, well, let's get through them. How did I get into wargaming? Well, I'm sure most of you have seen or probably played games like Space Crusade. In Germany it was called StarQuest or Hero Quest, and for me it was StarQuest Space Crusade. I saw it, a few friends had it, so I got it some time for Christmas too. It was pretty cool. It was a nice board game. Many years later, in 1996, I believe, I went into a newspaper store and while walking through it saw the White Dwarf magazine. It was the German issue 22. And just took it out and paged through it, and then I saw pictures of Space Marines. And I immediately recognized these guys. I thought, hey, these were the GSG troops from StarQuest. I don't know how they were called in English, if they were actually called Space Marines there. In Germany they were called GSG, Galaxy Safeguard troops. I was interested, but put it back. Didn't have money with me or whatever. Next time I got there, it was already the next issue. It was issue number 23. I remember there was back in that time the White Dwarf magazines had lots of cardboard stuff in there that you could cut out, and didn't even need to cut out. It was stands, just had to glue together. It was a Bretonian tournament setting, a few tents and stuff like that. I bought this one just because I was interested, and from that point on I bought each following issue and just read through the fluff and what it was in there without actually playing Warhammer 40k. And yeah, showed it a friend, the White Dwarf magazines, and in 1997, as the 3rd edition came out, I was still in school, made the Abitur. He didn't make the Abitur, he was already in job school, he was earning his own money, so he had the financial resources and bought the starter set. Well, yeah, that's so much for question number one. How did I get into wargaming? StarQuest or Space Crusade, and then I saw the White Dwarf, and that's it. Well, that's easy, it's quick. For how long? Since 1997, basically. As you will get to know later in the other questions, I'm not constantly playing. Actually, me and my buddy, we had not many, but very few games actually. But for how long have I been playing? We started in 1997. I play Warhammer 40k and Battlefield Gothic. I also have Gorka Morka and Blood Bowl somewhere on a shelf, but never really played them. Gorka Morka, I'm keeping this. It's kind of like a role-playing game like Necromunda and the other games of that kind, but Blood Bowl just in this month or last month, I believe, for Blood Bowl PC, the Legendary Edition has been released with 20 teams or something, so I think I'm going to sell my Blood Bowl board game and stick to the PC version. But other games that we really played, Warhammer 40k the most, and Battlefield Gothic just not so much. Which is my favorite? Well, Warhammer 40k. Battlefield Gothic is a really good game too. Definitely would encourage you to check that out. For me personally, I don't know, I'm a bit more trouble with keeping all the rules in my head. I feel the rules are a bit more complicated than 40k. Well, now we've got a 5th edition where I think the rules are pretty straight, pretty good. Blood Bowl, I think, Blood Bowl again, Battlefield, Gothic, I think it's a bit more complicated, but still a really great game. Armies, I've got Space Marines, Ultramarines and Imperial Guard, but both are not completely assembled and painted. Not completely, but just very few of these armies is actually done. I also have at least one miniature of every other race, but Space Marines and Imperial Guard are what comes closest to being a full army, just not painted. My favorite, Space Marines, definitely. I mean, I like Imperial Guard too, and basically every race but Space Marines. Least favorite army, which would I never play? Well, to me, my two least favorite armies are probably Orcs and Tyranids. It's not that I don't like them, I like them the least from all races. Has probably something to do with my fear of painting a lot of skin and flesh, which is harder to paint than just armor like Space Marines. Yeah, which would I never play. I always say, at one point in my life I want to have one army of each race, and yeah. I don't think that's ever going to happen, but there is no army that I would never play. Let's put it like that. My first army were Space Marines. Question answered. The first models that I bought, as I said earlier in another question, my buddy bought the starter set for 3rd edition. So there were Space Marines and Dark Eldar in, and he used the Space Marines for his Blood Angels and kept the Dark Eldar too. So I bought the old Space Marine Battle Force, which was I believe a 10-man tactical squad, 5 Terminators, a set of these old ruins, and what else was in there? Can't recall. Terminators, tactical squad, a Cybot, I believe, Dreadnought. I can't really recall. It was the old 1997 Battle Force. These were my first kits that I bought. Why? Well, basically, as I said, in the starter force in 1997 there were Space Marines and Dark Eldar, and at that point in time I really disliked the Dark Eldar. I don't know, it just seemed like, you know, you had the good Eldar, so they were their bad copy, and I didn't like the fluff, the background, I didn't like the models, so it was rather obvious to go Space Marines. I like the Space Marines, you know, who doesn't like bulky dudes walking around holding a bro. Space Marines. And again, I remember them from the StarQuest Space Crusade game, so that's I think that's why I chose to play them first. And they're easy to play, they're easy to paint. Yeah, that's I like them. Can't really, I mean, since 1997, how much have I spent? Too much. And honestly, I don't even want to know. It's been several thousand euro at least, definitely. I mean, you can't see it, but I've got tons and tons of boxes full of unassembled or assembled but unpainted miniatures. And that's not even counting color and bits, which are more expensive, being single parts, etc., etc. Thousands of euro, definitely. And per month, well, that changes a lot. Sometimes, for long times, I don't buy anything because I've got more than enough lying here around waiting to be assembled. And in other months, like last month, what did I buy last month? It was a tactical squad, Space Marine squad, Iron Hands squad, because they have some extra bits, like bionic arms and legs and stuff. Nice for customizing our figures. The Space Marine Command squad, I had the old one, made of metal, where Techmarine was in and etc. Now I got the new one, mainly for having the additional bits for different parts. The shoulder pads from the company champion, they look pretty nice, and more stuff to distribute among the rest of the army. I bought the Dark Elder Codex, 2 webway portals for the Dark Elder, 2 blisters of special weapon stormtroopers. I believe it was about 120, but I can't really say an average. It's most of the time nothing, and sometimes when something new comes out or I need some paints or whatever, I always order some stuff along with that. Can't really give an average, Way too much, definitely. Both. As for the hobby, I like assembling and converting, customizing miniatures, definitely. I hate painting, definitely. And I like to play, definitely. So, am I more a player, a gamer or a hobbyist? I'd say, well, probably more a gamer. I mean, converting and stuff is nice, but I do it for the game, for being able to play the game. So probably a bit more gamer than hobbyist. Painting sucks.